Australian feminist writer G.D. Anderson said, "Feminism isn't about making women strong. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength." Welcome to Her Story, where captivating narratives unfold and voices resonate. Join us as we delve into the remarkable journeys and experiences of inspiring women from all walks of life. Get ready to be moved, empowered, and inspired by the stories that shape her story. Before we meet our guest for today, I must thank our location partner, Home Basics, for providing us a lovely set. With a Master of Engineering in Civil Engineering and Architecture, our next guest is one of the few female architects in the country. She worked for the Ministry of Home and Culture Affairs then as a project engineer for 4 years, after which she dared to venture on her own with 𝗬𝗎Design and Build that brought sustainable design practices into Bhutan, combining modern technology and design practices with local architectural heritage. In addition to being in a profession that is male-dominated, what stands out about our guest is her passion for her job. So let's meet 𝗬𝗎chị𝗿𝘆, commonly known as 𝗬𝗎chị, and find out more about her journey as a woman in the world of architecture. All right. Hello, 𝗬𝗎chị.
Hi, Giselle.
Welcome to Her Story.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Welcome to Her Story, 𝗬𝗎chị. Thank you so much for taking this time out to be here with us. My first question whenever I have a guest here is I always like to take the guest back to her childhood and describe us or share with us one childhood memory that you hold close to your heart that has also helped you shape who you are as a woman right now.
I can remember this time when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old. I had this help. She used to live with us, and I had just moved to Thimphu and had no friends. And I would like beg her to play with me all the time, like, "Come on, let's go out and play." And then if she refused, I would ask my mom to, like tell her to play with me. And then usually she refused me, and then I would be like, "Oh, she's so stubborn. Like, why is she being so stubborn, right?" And my mom said, "You're the one being stubborn. Like, why do you always want her to play with you? Like, go do something else, right?" And at that moment, I realized that there's a different way of looking at life. Like, there's my perspective and there's some others' perspective, right? So growing up, I always knew that how I see the world is not the only way. So there's truth, which is more from everyone's perspective.
True.
Like,
what is true to you might not be true to the others.
Exactly.
And what we believe is a fact is just a perspective.
Exactly.
And perspectives vary, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Such a small, very ordinary experience, yet it made you think so much.
So ever since I've always tried to be very considerate and see from other points of views.
Wow. And I have invited you here because I see your social media and I see how the passion with which you work, how you advocate about modern architecture and how you talk about, not talk necessarily, but your social media posts are mainly about the designs that you have worked on. So tell me, what got you into the field of architecture?
I feel like I got there by chance. Yeah, I've always, I mean, when I was younger, like somebody asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And in my mind, I wanted to say an architect, but I would say an artist. Right?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, but it always evolved. Like, I think I was good in economics at one point, and I was like, "Oh, I want to be an economist," or So it kind of always changed, and I got into this university, and I was actually going to be an engineer.
A civil engineer?
Yeah, civil engineer. And the university offered a double degree, and I was like, why not, I always wanted, like when I was a kid, I remember I wanted that. So I was like, okay, let's just try it out. And in the end, I realized that I'm actually better at being an architect than an engineer.
So do you, at your work now, do you still do some designing, civil engineering work and architectural work Or is it just strictly architectural?
So right now I'm strictly architecture. I mean, I practice architecture and I outsource my engineering work to someone else. But when I was working in Department of Culture, I was working as a structural engineer.
You were working in, for the government for 4 years?
Yes.
After 2018, more you quit, and then you started to pursue your own work. And it's been 8 years, 7 years? More since then. So which work, what is your proudest work and why?
I think I'm kind of proud of all my works.
Okay. It's almost like I'm asking you to choose which one's your favorite child.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, I'm proud that I'm able to make my clients really enjoy their home. I mean, they're really happy of what I built them. So, you know, and we are still friends. And my first client, we are very close. I'm not very close, but whenever he comes to visit Bhutan, we always meet up once in a while. And even this client, like, she's been advocating me so much. She's quite popular on TikTok, right? So she's been talking about me so much, and I just like doing that for someone, you know, creating their dream houses. So both my clients till now have been super happy, and I built my own house as well. And I think one of the proudest thing for me is having my parents come back home during winter. You know, they usually go to India or somewhere for their pilgrimage, or, you know, Bhutan is just too cold for them. But after I built this house, and they really like staying in our house so much now that they cut short of their trip and they came back. So,
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so I think you mentioned like it's sustainability. So I've insulated the house, so, you know, it's warm during winter. So that has been a big factor, and I'm proud to say that my parents are proud of me for building that house.
Because you've been designing homes for the last 7 years, are there any noticeable differences in what the demands of your clients are?
So far, I've done design work for Bhutanese, but I've never built them a house, right? So far, my clients had always had a foreigner and a Bhutanese counterpart. Okay. So the foreigners, they know what's out there, and they know, you know, they've lived in a really nice houses, so they always expect something better. And here, I think insulation, you know, having a warm house was one of the major thing that I think I brought here. Like, it's something I really wanted to bring as well. Like, I studied in UK for 4 years, and there was never a day when I was freezing cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
No matter how cold the weather outside is,
exactly.
it's always warm
inside.
And for Bhutanese structures, you're right, we do not think about insulating the home like that. It must be challenging too, because you don't have any reference.
Exactly. So I referred to, I knew about it, like, through my education, but I didn't know how to implement it. So I had to do a lot of research, and I had to import things from China and, you know, different places. And it was basically trial and error with my labours. You know, we, like, does it stick, the form? It's an insulation form. It's 50 mm thick. Like, does it stick to the wall? Like, how do we make sure that it doesn't move? And, you know, we did all this trial and error, and yeah. So we managed to do it, and it's still working. And the first house I built, like, the owners, they're really happy with the results. So
And that's
yeah,
what matters, right?
yeah. And another thing is the plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it? Why is it?
I think, I don't know. In Bhutanese houses, your toilet pot is at the very end, and then your wet area is in the middle. So, like, when you shower, everything gets wet, right?
Yeah, true. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, hotels have better arrangements. So I try to do that, like, separate my wet zone and the dry zone, and so that the toilet always remains kind of dry.
Is it challenging to incorporate modern designs with the traditional requirements?
Yeah. There's always, I think there's this notion that we are so constrained because of our Bhutanese architecture that we need to incorporate. But coming from and working with Department of Culture, I really want to bring forward our Bhutanese architecture forward, right? Like, I want to combine them. And I won't say it's a design challenge. I would say it just makes our architecture more unique. You know, it can have all the modern amenities and yet to look very Bhutanese. right? And I think cultural identity is such a big part of who we are, and I don't see it as a restrictive thing, but more as a creative process to go through. Yeah.
Do you, as a woman, find it very difficult to be in your field of work?
Design part, I think it's kind of normal. Like I'm an architect, like I'm a woman, I'm an architect. Nobody bats an eye on that, right? But when I'm constructing, like, oh, you're constructing, you're building the house. I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, you look so small, and you know. But I drive this pickup truck, so that helps. So I think that gives them confidence. Oh, although she looks small, she drives this big car, so maybe she is capable of doing it. But I always felt like the response I got are always positive, in the sense that it's kind of annoying that, you know, like you being a woman, you are able to do that kind of. But I always take it positively.
What keeps you up at night? What's your biggest fear?
I'm so tired from work that I fall asleep very easily, but then I wake up super early. I see. And then my mind is like running. I have to do this, I have to do that, blah, 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 blah. And you know, but that's been since I've been working on construction. But before that, after the pandemic, when everything was really slow, what really what really worried me was this whole fear of missing out, basically, FOMO, right? Everybody is still moving to Australia, I think. I don't know the situation right now. But at that point, we were also considering, should we move, should we not? And every day was like, are we gonna go, are we gonna stay? And that was just like getting really tiring. And I feel like now now since I've decided, okay, I'm gonna stay back. So that kind of fear of missing out, or fear of that something can be taken away from in an instant. I have this fear, like, you know, I do so much, but then everything I've built can be taken away in an instant. I have that.
With so many people leaving to Australia and sending money in, do you feel like people in your field of work are getting more opportunities to build creative buildings?
Yes, yes. I feel like now they expect more. And they're willing to spend more because they have the money. And I'm like, I did the calculation, and now, like, you know, Buddhists had started moving to Australia around 10 years ago. So now they're at the point where they can spend. So I'm like, yeah.
It's good news there.
It's good news there. They're going, I mean, ever since I talked about 𝗦𝘁cie, right? Like she posted.
Your
so
𝗦𝘁cie
is my client who, yeah. So ever since she did a live video of the house I built, I've been getting so many, you know, inquiries. Wow. Yeah, and most of them are in Australia. So it's not all bad, right?
And I think I've seen very few people promote their work like that. Yeah. So this is the new way of promoting the hard work that you've been putting in for so long. It's a good approach. It's a very brand new approach to the current scenario in the country for design companies like yourself. 𝗬𝗫chị, you are a woman. You're the only daughter in a family with two older brothers who are with a huge age gap there. When a lot of the times the youngest feels very unheard, they're usually ignored, they're usually forgotten. But I'm sure because you were the only girl in the family, you got some attention there.
Yeah.
However, I want to ask you, when have you been the proudest of using your voice to speak up for yourself?
I think I'm just proud that I do speak up for myself. I have had, I mean, it doesn't always get heard, you know. Using my voice has not never, but like hasn't really made a big impact. Like I have not much influence or in position of power to, you know, have such an impact. But I always felt like using my voice has been a very healing process for me. So anything that is in there, I just let it out, right? And I think it is quite healing. And actually, 𝗬𝗫𝘀𝗵, whenever he sees me, he jokes saying, you know, are you going to give us a big lecture today? So there was this one meeting where there was like, you know, lampposts and secretaries, and I had to push forward, like, we need modern interventions for 𝗏𝗏𝘀𝗀𝗀. So I was working for 𝗏𝗏𝘀𝗀𝗀 reconstruction project. So yeah, we need modern intervention, and there was a lot of resistance, and they want to build the old way but better. But like when it's better, we were like, it has to be earthquake resilient. It has to have something, that makes it stronger, and we were really pushing for it. And yeah, I gave like 2.5-hour lecture. I don't think it worked out to what we wanted, but like the fact that I could do that, and I was given the platform to do that from, I was only 3 years into my job, and a lot was expected from me.
Wow, all right, that's really good. I'm glad to see such young, confident women on the couch. What do you do when you face failure, though? How do you cope up?
I've been lucky in the sense that whatever I really wanted, I've been able to get it. But for some reason, I've never been able to get all 8 band on IELTS. I've tried so many times. I've studied for it, and I still can't get it. And in a way, it worked out pretty fine. Like that, I needed that for going to Australia, and I actually tried for 𝗘𝗶𝘁𝗵 scholarship as well. And even then, I was like so confident, I'm gonna get it, but I didn't.
Yeah. So how did you cope up then?
I just like, it's just not in my cards, just not meant to be.
Were you always this relaxed and very accepting of results, or does this come with growing older?
I think it comes with my meditation practice.
Oh, okay. So, yes, tell me about it. Meditation. What kind of meditation, and why do you do it?
It's called a Vipassana meditation. So you go to, it's all over the world, and it's free, basically. You donate at the end of it, like if you want to. So it's a 10 days course. The beginner's course is a 10 days course, and for 10 days you're meditating for 10 hours, more than 10 hours a day. Yeah, and it's, I really believe it's the purest form of Buddha's teaching. And the basic thing you're a Buddhist, impermanence. Everything changes, right? And there you really experience the impermanence, and you know that, whatever is happening right now won't matter in another 2-3 years, or, you just make the best out of it. So whenever I face failure, I'm like, it's just not meant to be. Of course I grieve about it, like, oh my God, this happened, but I always can pick myself up and move forward.
Yeah, wow. How long have you been meditating?
Since 2017, so yeah.
How long do you have to do it for a day?
So it's recommended that I do it like every morning, 1 hour, 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. But I don't really always get the time. So yeah, and it's like really cleansing, and I come out of it feeling really refreshed. And
oh wow. What's been the biggest challenge in your life?
Biggest challenge, I think for me,
it could be internal or external. Yeah.
For me, it's been that my life was progressing upwards. Like I went to really good high school, and then I was in UK, like everything. In UK, I had the best time. I traveled, I ate the most delicious food, I went to concerts, and like it was such a high point. And you come back here, and then there's nothing.
It hits you.
It hits you, like and you don't realize that. You've been through your highs, and you don't realize that now it's like your lows, and you're just in that slump. Yeah. And it was really difficult. Like my husband right now, he was my boyfriend then, and for a couple of months I would be just shaking in my while sleeping, like literally shaking, and he would have to hold me. And I couldn't really figure out what it was, but through my meditation now I realize it's like having experienced the best, and then not having it anymore was, I think that was it. And
maybe that addiction to the adrenaline, the excitement, you get used to it, then you come back. It's not even that your life is miserable in Bhutan. It's just that there's not much happening here.
And nobody gets it. It's like you have everything right going in your life. Like, why are you upset? Why are you sad? And you have no answer to that. you know, you can't explain it. So I think I'm still in the process of getting over
Yeah, I bet. And it takes time. Healing is not linear. It comes and goes. It comes in waves. So yeah. Well, at least you were self-aware to realize that and to give yourself grace and to be a lot more forgiving to yourself and being kind to yourself. I think that's key. 𝗬𝗫𝗀, who do you look up for inspirations and examples whenever you're in a slump or a rut? It can be professionally, it can be personal too.
Like professionally, there are many that I look up to, but from personal life, I think my dad. You know, he's always been very giving, and that like for some reason he's been very lucky, and he always says it's because I'm very giving. So I kind of believe him, and I like being that person as well. Like as much as possible, let's help, and like for my clients as well, I just want to make sure that they get what they want, you know? And I'm sure you notice like DIY projects, like you try to do it, you copy every move that's shown and it still ends up not looking right? And I feel like you want something, but I'm your voice, like a writer can write so well, like it can express so well. So as an architect, I try to be that, like, you know what you want, but I want to make it as best as possible. So that's what I aspire to do all the time. And yeah.
Right. 𝗬𝗫𝗀, I'm going to give you one sentence. It's a fill in the blank, okay? 𝗬𝗫𝗀 is.
My dad says I'm very decisive. So 𝗬𝗫𝗀 is decisive. I think 𝗬𝗫𝗀 is a person with no regrets. I don't know if it's spontaneous, but I've done skydiving. Yeah. Most thrilling thing, I suppose. Yeah. Oh my God. I think I've seen this in a meme or some post which says like, anyways, I'm a villain. I'll save, I'll not sacrifice. So I've seen this post. It's like you're a villain if you know, sacrifice a whole lot of people for the person you love, and the hero is somebody who sacrifices somebody they love to save a whole lot of people. And I think I'm a villain. Yeah. I feel like I can already read minds. Nah, I'm joking. I mean, like, but I do get the vibe. You know, if somebody doesn't give me a nice vibe, I know that, you know, I don't want to be around them. And I have turned away like many clients who gave me that vibe. I'm like, sorry, I don't think it's gonna work. So telekinesis would be great, like to move things with my mind. Yeah. Oh my God, it would be so easy for me in construction. I just move things around. Yeah, I'll definitely go for telekinesis.
Let us carry forward 𝗬𝗫𝗀's inspiring story as a beacon of hope and determination for aspiring architects everywhere. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery and empowerment. May we continue to celebrate and support the diverse voices shaping our environment. Remember, your story is part of the greater narrative of change and progress. Until next time, keep writing your own her story.